Welcome back to another great episode of Educate Africa with Dr. Sanele Kamede. So after my first lecture with first year students, I thought it is very important that I have this conversation with you, especially in this episode. So this episode is going to be a little bit longer, but I'm going to be straight to the point. So bear with me here. But before you bear with me and I dive deep into this episode, please make sure that you remember to subscribe and share this episode, especially to many first year students whom I'm going to say congratulations that you are at university this year. You're probably doing your first few weeks and things are just all over the place. So I remember myself, and I'm not going to take you back to getting lost in the institution. Some institutions are very big, some are simple and straightforward. So I don't know if the University of Johannesburg is that big and complicated, but hear me out. So when I was lecturing, as I indicated, my first lecture, what I've realized is that many students are a little bit confused. So allow me to tightly, if I were to tightly this episode and say understanding your qualification. I don't know if I'm too late to talk about understanding your qualification because you are now in the institution, but I hope this is going to be very helpful. So, in the institution, what makes many students fail to finish their qualification, especially first years, and make them drop out in their first years. And it is a thing, by the way. We do have first years that will drop out because they are overwhelmed, because they are confused. And the confusion which I speak about in my second book, titled Finishing Your Qualification in Record Time, a student guide, I speak about how important it is for you to understand your qualification. So, of course, I want you to know your university. And you might take this very lightly because, you are in the institution. What, Sanele, should I know about this institution? Because I'm at the University of Johannesburg. There is so much that you need to know about your institution so that you understand where you can receive help, so that you are able to actually ask for help in the relevant department, in the relevant offices, in case you need it. And it is due to the lack of understanding the institution and what it offers as support, what it doesn't offer, what is it up to, its values and goals and vision, that makes people feel, or students feel like they are overwhelmed, confused, and university is not their thing. So I want you to clearly understand the institution, go to their website, read more, and I want you to then move into understanding your faculty. This might sound as something very simple, but trust me, there are students at their third year level who do not know their faculty, who do not know their faculty officers, who do not know their dean, their vice deans, especially in institutions such as the University of Johannesburg, big institutions where you have the dean, you have the vice dean, you have the faculty officers, you have the people that are there to support you, the people that you can talk to about changing a module or adding a module, or when you are frustrated about exam timetables and stuff like that. So you must understand your faculty. It is very important that you understand which faculty are you in. If your cousin were to ask, you need to be able to answer your cousin. And then number three, if you are in a school, you need to understand your school. Or if you are in a department, like in my case, I'm under the School of Communication and Media, and I'm under the Department of Communication and Media within the school. So it is very important that you then understand your department. Who's the head of the department? who are the administrators. You need to understand who are the lecturers and what are they teaching, and when are their consultation times. When can you come and see them? Their contact details. Where in the institution is your department? Because some students don't seek help because they don't even know where either their faculty is, or where their school is, or where their department is. It is very important that you know these people. Some websites do have faces of these amazing people called lecturers, head of departments, administrators, student assistants, your tutors, and all of that. You must understand all of that. And then when you move from understanding your department, let's dive deep into the degree. I want you to start understanding the degree that you are doing. So I teach in the Bachelor of Arts degree, and it's a fascinating degree because you as a student have the ability to create the degree. So you choose the majors. It's not a structured degree like other degrees where it's a degree in psychology, or it's a degree in social work, or an engineering degree where everything is structured for you. In the Bachelor of Arts, which I guess many institutions out there offer this degree, not only in the University of Johannesburg, not only in South Africa, even outside South Africa as well. Many institutions offer a degree that is flexible, where you can pick and choose which are my majors, which are my electives, which brings me to understanding exactly that. I want you to be able to understand your degree. What is it? Is the Bachelor of Arts degree? What are your majors? What are you majoring in? And that's where the confusion starts for many young people, because they don't even understand what is a major, what is an elective. So I don't know how am I going to explain a major, but your major, especially in the Bachelor of Arts degree, and some colleagues and anyone is going to drop a comment below this video and help me better unpack these, because my understanding is that when you choose a major, it is more of you choosing this career within this degree. So you can, for example, in the Bachelor of Arts degree, you can choose communication and media as your major. You can choose psychology as your major. So you decide, okay, it's either I'm going to work in the media industry, in the communication and media industry, or if this doesn't work, I have an opportunity to work in the psychology industry. Some, they decide to pick majors that are related, majors that you can use. You can use communication in psychology, or you can use psychology in communication. So that's how they structure that. Okay, so it is very important that you understand your majors, because this is not something that you can just pick and choose because of your friends. And in most cases, many students don't understand this, and they just choose because they are registering. And unfortunately, because of technology, I mean, we are in the fourth industrial or fifth industrial revolution, and people have to register online at home, and many institutions do not allow walk-ins, and they don't have, not that they don't allow, they don't have the enough budget to pay for people who are going to be physically there. And arguments are saying we are moving to technology anyway, so you need to be able to register online. But here is the disadvantage. For someone who is in the rural areas, that becomes a challenge, because some, they don't get the necessary guidance when it comes to what is a major, what is an elective, why should I choose this major, and which major am I going to choose. Which I will say, go back to part 1 of my second book, Finishing Your Qualification in Record Time, a student guide, which is going to guide you on how to choose a career. Because when you now choose a major, you are choosing your major based on the career that you have chosen. And when you choose, we normally say have a first, second, third, sometimes a fourth or a fifth choice, which means when you get to the BA degree, you are going to then say, you know what, I wanted to be this, and my second choice was this, and it's all available in the BA. So those are going to be my majors. And then the electives are then going to be the modules that support these majors. You can't just pick any electives because you just want to fill credits and make sure that you have enough credits, which is another thing, by the way. Some students don't understand what are credits. And that's when your faculty, that's when your department will come in to explain the credits. For example, I did a degree, and the degree was 384 credits. It was 3 years. All the modules that I did were 16 credits, and I had to do 4 modules per semester to make it 64, and 64 in the second semester. So a year was 128 credits. So you need to make sure that you don't register less. I mean, you can try to register more, which is going to create a lot of clashes in your timetable, in your exam timetable, in your tutorials, but you need to be able to register enough modules that you have to register, especially core modules. Okay, so it's not only electives and majors. You also need to make sure that the credits, you have enough credits, and also make sure that you have the core modules that are needed in that degree that you have chosen, or that major that you have chosen. So once you have understood all of that, once you have a clear understanding with all of that, the modules, the core modules, sometimes the core electives, you will be able to then start to see your degree very clearly. And this might not be probably relevant to someone who has a structured degree, maybe a law degree, that when you do a LLB, they will just give you a list. But even there, it is very important that you make sure that that list is there, because we do have students that will just register for 2 modules. And then sometimes the faculty might not notice because of how many students we do have. And then later, when you have to graduate, they will tell you, no, sorry, you have a module that you didn't do, which was a core elective, or within your major that was core that you needed to do. Or you need to go back and do that first year or second year module. And it's painful when you are now about to graduate, and now you are blocked by that module. And the most important part as well is understanding your core, your prerequisite modules. There are modules that are that are prerequisite, which means you have to do these modules and pass them for you to move to the next level. You can't register, for example, communication 2B or 2A in the second semester if you failed communication 1A or communication 1B, which means communication 1A is a prerequisite for you to register communication 2A. I hope you are still with me here, and please do drop your comment if this is useful for you or your relative, could be sisters, cousins, and all of that, because many of them are confused. So when you understand all of that, you then come back to the issue of the timetable. You need to understand your timetable. You need to know when are your tutorials. I had quite a number of students who started emailing me. So I teach first years. I'm one of the lucky people who see these first years for their first. I am the first lecturer they see in the university, some of them. And I have fun with them. But what happened this time around is I think I forgot to send a notification to all of them because they are divided into two groups. So there's a group that I teach on Monday, there's a group that I teach on Thursday. So the group that I taught on Monday, I told them that we don't have tutorials in the first week of lectures. They will only start the following week. But half, which is over 200, because I have 500 and maybe 70 students, if I'm not mistaken, they have started emailing me to say, you are not in class. I'm thinking, hey, am I supposed to be in class? And what they were referring to is it's a tutorial, and I'm not even supposed to be there. Tutors are supposed to be there, but we didn't have tutorials that week. So you need to understand all of that, and part of the orientation, which is very important for you to attend, and many students don't attend, and some, because of different reasons, they don't attend. So those orientations, they help you figure out what, when, how, and so forth. Once you have figured out your timetable, you attend your first lecture. And of course, before you attend your first lecture, I hope this video is not too late, you need to figure out the institution. As I said earlier, where are the classes? Where are the tutorial venues? Know these places or know these venues before you are supposed to be there. Because like in many places, Johannesburg has so much traffic. And if you are going to think, I will figure it out in the morning, you might be stuck on traffic, arrive here late, and then now you don't even know the venue. And you need to know your tutor if you are attending tutorials, because you don't want to attend either the wrong class or the wrong tutorial in the wrong tutorial venue. So these are very basic, and they sound basic to someone probably who's, well vested, who have sisters and brothers who have been to university. But if you are a the first person to go to university, like ours, it is confusing. I came to lectures 15 minutes when the lecture was left with 15 minutes to end, because I was going around trying to find venues and all of that. I remember trying to go back home. We got lost with my friend in Durban, looking for taxis to take us back home. It was the most overwhelming situation, overwhelming time of our lives. At the same time, we were excited. We were happy about being at university, which I don't want you to feel like the anxiety is bigger than what you are here for. What you are here for is very important. It's necessary. It is needed. And you need to stick within what you have started. I've spoken too much. Maybe let me allow you in this episode, drop your comments on what has been your weird experience at university, especially as a first year. Maybe not as a student anymore, but what was your craziest experience as a first year? What was the experience? If you are a first year this year, you have been to university now for a week or two, what has been your experience? Please kindly share, and make sure that you share this episode with other students like yourself so that they can benefit. And allow me to apologize. This video might not be as fancy as you might have wanted, and the background noise might have not been so kind with me, because I'm here in my office and I decided, you know what? Let me just inspire you with some of the certificates, and stop thinking or overthinking about shooting this episode, because I'm delaying this information that you need. Remember, this is Educate Africa with Dr. Saneleka Mede. Thank you for watching this episode, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you are wondering, this t-shirt is available as an inspirational t-shirt that you will wear. It's possible because it's doable. It's available on my website. It's available on my company website. On my social media, I do drop the website. So go and get your t-shirt and make sure that you wear these amazing t-shirts like me and spread positiveness. And please go back and watch some of the episodes that I've done before. There's a very important episode called What is Education for Africans? It's a very important and informative episode that you need to watch as a student. The book that I was talking about, Finishing Your Qualification in Record Time, a student guide, it is available. Make sure that you get your ebook on the website. It's available. You can get a hard copy as well. I think I need to record an audio book so that you also enjoy listening to me as you are watching me right now. See you on the next episode. I am Dr. Saneleka Mede.